Karibuni sana to this conversation. And I want to put something to you. 15 years ago, we had a new constitution. And in that constitution, one of the biggest changes our society, our politics had to take up was devolution. We were promised power to the people, services to the people. 47 counties were created. Billions, if not trillions, have been sent to the counties throughout the years. The question is, to this day, has devolution delivered for Kenya? We have a situation where healthcare is failing, billions are vanishing into thin air, countless, more than 40 governors, sitting and former governors, are on the red list of the EACC. Why? Because of corruption. 2 of them this day are in court, or rather were in court, on matters corruption. Is devolution working? More than ever, the health system is broken. There's a tussle between the national and the county governments over who's going to take the essential UHC workers. This in a country that has a shocking ratio of health workers to patients, way below the WHO standards. Are we bickering over shillings and cents? And the cost to pay is actually livelihoods and lives. Is devolution working? Were 47 counties too many? Did we deploy devolution too quickly, too soon? Were we unprepared? These are questions I'm asking myself and I'm asking out in the open. And these are questions, if we're honest, these are questions you and I are asking ourselves day and night. And so tonight, we have a big team with us in studio. With the indulgence of my camera team, you can see the people that we have in studio. All these people represent you, our dear viewer. Your hopes, your dreams, most importantly, your voice. We have experts, we have analysts, we have leaders, elected and otherwise, here to break down this all-important conversation on devolution. And I ask you, my dear viewers, to pay attention and be involved in this conversation. Karibuni sana. The People's Court is now in session. Devolution is on trial. The judge, the jury, and the one that decides whether this question will be answered satisfactorily is you. So once again, Karibuni sana. I will ask that we silence our phones, please, because this is a very, very important conversation. Allow me to introduce some of the guests that we have here tonight. The others, we shall hear from them, and particularly their names, as and when they contribute. Starting, first, but not, of course, in order of prominence, the Honorable Abdile Yusuf Mohammed, who's joining us from the great county of Wajir, where he serves as Speaker. Karibu.
Asante. Thank you.
Next, we have the Honorable Anselm Mwadime, joining us from the great county of Taita Taveta, where he serves as Speaker. Is Honorable Mwadime here? He is not. Well, we shall keep it moving. We are joined by the Honorable Dr. Esben Hansen Owila. He is a communications expert, particularly political communications. His well-known voice in this sector is here to share his wisdom. Karibu sana, sir. We are also joined by, I don't know whether to call you the Honorable, and allow me to say your name is Mickey Ochieng, who serves in many capacities, wears many hats, definitely. But tonight we shall identify her as the CAF Deputy Organizing Secretary. Karibu sana. We are also joined by the Honorable Jael Omunyangoli from Kakamega County, where she serves as member of the County Assembly. We are joined by Dismas Mokua, who's a political risk analyst par excellence, well known in the studio and across the region. Karibu sana. We are also joined by the Honorable Vincent Atsiaya, or Aziaya, as the people of Vihiga would rather say it. He joins us from that great county where he serves as the member of the County Assembly, I believe for Wodanga?
Yes.
Excellent. Karibu sana. And last but not least, we have the Honorable Philip Nzagi, who's joining us from Embu. Karibu sana, sir.
Thank you.
Excellent. Now, I really wish that phone would either go on silent but perhaps it's you Kenyans sending in messages of curiosity, of ire and anger at this situation that we find ourselves in. So if it's your messages, then please, by all means, keep them coming. We've got something to talk about. I want to ask a question to the room, and I will select a few people to give us feedback on this. 15 years of this constitution, Katiba at 15, and we've had about, I want to say, roughly 13 years of devolution. Has this constitution delivered? And has devolution delivered? I'll start with you, sir, the Honourable Speaker. Please have a seat. It's all right?
No.
Yeah.
Start just myself. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think, and I firmly believe, that devolution has delivered.
Has it?
Has delivered.
And what about the Constitution?
Of course, if we have devolution has delivered, it is a product of the Constitution. So I tend to think largely, of course, there are weaknesses and shortfalls, but I will believe the Constitution has worked significantly for the nation of Kenya.
All right, we'll delve deeper into that. Let me hear from you, Madam Ucheng. Do you believe the Constitution and specifically devolution has delivered?
I would like to say that it has delivered. It has delivered because we are sitting here today not as councillors, but as members of the county assemblies in different spectra. So yes, it has delivered. Does it have weaknesses? It does. Does it have issues, teething problems? It does. But I believe we are still on our way to make it better.
What about you, Honourable Omunyangoli? How should we say that name? I really love to say people's names properly.
It's Jael Omumani Omunyangoli.
Omunyangoli. Excellent. Madam, the Honourable Omunyangoli, do you believe it's delivered, the Constitution and the devolution specifically?
Thank you. I do believe it's delivered to a certain percentage. And while we are talking about the percentage of what has happened in the counties, we need to also talk about the other vices that have been devolved, which makes it look like devolution is not working. Part of the vices are corruption, inequality in sharing of the resources, and the structures that have not been put in place and utilized in the counties. That is what makes it look like it's struggling in being attained, in devolution being attained.
I see.
But by a larger percentage, devolution is good, a product of the Constitution of 2010, and it's working in most of the devolved units.
All right. What about you, sir? What do your people say?
I'll say that, you have two questions in one.
Yes, please.
About devolution and the Constitution.
Yes, indeed.
Because I believe devolution is only one aspect of the Constitution.
Indeed.
And I believe that the Constitution is delivering. Devolution is working. We have teething problems, but we have people in Kenya who still do not believe in devolution. And they are the same people who would want to make devolution look like it's not working, it's not good. But for me, with the experience of now being a second-term MCA, I believe devolution was the best thing for this country.
I saw you very gingerly avoiding the word, the very emotive word, the two-term. Honourable Aziaya, where do you stand on this? Are you a one-term MCA or a two-term MCA?
I'll shock you, I'm serving the third term.
Is that so? Brilliant. In fact, now you're the person to really talk to us about this. And I hope your tag doesn't become popular, 3-term. So let's start with you. In your very, very opinion.
In my own opinion,
yes,
devolution was the best thing that happened to this country, and it is working. Yes, we have problems. It has issues, the way Honorable Mnyangoli has said. But you don't kill a baby because he urinates in the beddings. Whether there are too many or not is a question of discussion. But devolution is working. We have areas in this country that could have not developed was it not for devolution. So the question of devolution working or not working should not be there, because devolution is working You walk into certain areas that were forgotten, time immemorial, they have developed. And whether the counties were so many or not, I don't think there were so many, because those people who were coming up with the constitution, we had so many sittings and we had experts, and they went through a vigorous process to come up with the counties, the way they demarcated them. So I don't think there are so many.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just get a quick sample. Sir, what's your good name? Please pass him the mic. What's your good name? Where are you from? And what's your answer to this very important question?
Okay, thank you. My name is Peter Musili. I'm from Kuso Ward, which is in Kitui County. Actually, I'm in support of it. Devolution is very working, because actually most of the counties have been able to get health care and service to Mwanaiji. At first, we tend to see people traveling from rurals coming to Nairobi so that they can get services, basic services. But right now, since we get devolution, many areas are being represented. We see areas like Taita Taveta and Kitui. They are able now to get services. And actually, I wish to request whether we can get more counties, like we have Mwingi, Kuria, the rest, so that we can ensure that the service to Mwananchi is well delivered.
I have a question for you. Are you vying in Chuso Ward?
Yes, I'm vying.
I thought so. Karibu sana. Thank you for that. And perhaps you're raising something very important. Have a seat. About whether we were asking, are the counties too many? He seems to think that we actually need more counties. We'll delve deeper into that. Let me hear from one other person from this end. Please pass the microphone. The gentleman at the back with the microphone, and then we hear from you, sir. Let's hear from you, and then madam. Sir?
Okay, thank you. I'm Jason Marwa.
Would you care to stand, please?
Okay, thank you. I'm Jason Marwa from Korea, Timor West Ward. I'm an aspirant.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, from where I see it, devolution is really working, because we have what we call equitable sharing of resources. As you well know, there are so many places that were neglected before, but now they can get some resources. Number two, we have devolution has brought closer power to people, unlike initially where actually power was very far from locals. Now we can actually see local representation to most of the neglected places.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. All right. Thank you. And let's hear from you, madam. Your name, where you're from, and maybe I should ask. Just sit. It's fine. Where are you from?
I'm from Woodley.
Okay. And what's your good name, please? Hold the mic to you.
My good name is Lynette Moke. I'm a business person, and I'm a leader from Woodley. I'm a treasurer in Woodley Jamhuri Market.
Karibu.
I can say devolution has really worked, but again, it has created room for more corruption.
I see.
So when maybe governors are being elected, we see on a daily basis or after some few years, we have so many cases of corruption. It looks like it created room for corruption. So that's why people are fighting for their life to become maybe governors, to become MCAs, in a way that governors can compromise with the MCAs to get away with corruption. I think it was a good thing, but it is misused in a way.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Dr. Owela, has devolution transferred service delivery, or as is being asked here, just simply decentralized corruption? Where do you stand on this?
I mean, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, were we corrupt even before devolution? And the fact that corruption is almost near endemic in Kenya should suppose that we should not have devolution. And I think from where I sit, devolution has worked. I mean, it is one of the greatest roots of the 2010 Constitution. And we should not run away.
Dr. Wheeler, your mic apparently has a problem. I think your village people are... They are overworking. But as we fix your mic, allow me to bring in Dismas Mokua. Maybe on the same question, but I want to throw something a little bit more direct to you. we've sent trillions to the counties. Have we gotten the proper value for the money, the king's fortune, the king's ransom that we've sent to the counties?
Well, the last time I checked, devolution has benefited from 3.6 trillion Kenyan shillings. And by any stretch of imagination, that is a big deal. Now, you've been asking many questions, and I see most of the panelists are tiptoeing. The challenge you have is when you ask whether devolution has been a success, we need to have very clear parameters. Like, for instance, if you pick one metric, is devolution a success? Anybody who has served as a governor or as an MCA or a public servant of rank in the county government will say devolution is a success, not on account of the services they offer Mura or Wanjiro, but because they formed cartels and special interest groups, and they offer themselves contracts and tenders. Majority of the MCAs, when they want resources, they would threaten the governor with impeachment, and they're given contracts, and then they remain calm. And it's on record, a senior public servant of Kenya said that every time you have an election in Kenya, instantly you get 47 billionaires. Anybody who becomes elected as a governor becomes a billionaire, not on account of harnessing the factors of production, but because they sit on resources. That is number one. Number two, and I'm not suggesting that anybody is inside here, but majority of the MCAs who probably cannot afford a cup of tea at a 3-star hotel, but the moment they become elected, all of a sudden they become millionaires. If you go to the countryside, most of the real estate is owned by people who work with the county governments. So for them, it's really worked very well because their bank balances are very solid. Majority of them now do benchmarking. I mean, they go all over the world. Sometimes you find people from a lakeside city going to do benchmarking on fishing in a place where there is no fish. So really, this devolution is working very well. And then the utilization of resources has not been efficient nor effective, and that is the biggest challenge. And the speaker from Wajir would confirm that before devolution, majority of the counties in Kenya had no idea what a tarmac road is. In fact, they would say they would see tarmac road when they go to Kenya, meaning the urban areas. But now with the devolution, at least the governors are working, there's a lot of tarmac. But can you imagine, with the levels of impunity, mediocrity and corruption domiciled within the counties, the kind of Maendeleo we have seen, if they were efficient and effective, Kenya would have covered so much. It would have made a lot of ground. Like, for instance, I was born and brought up in Kisii. We've got a beautiful referral hospital, which was not the case before devolution. So right now, when people get sick in the region, they don't need to get a night bus to come to Kenyatta National Hospital for medical attention. But can you imagine what would have happened if the resources were utilized? Now, you've indicated today that there's there's a governor and a former governor who are in court. I mean, why are they in court? It's simply because of they're behaving like we are in the DRC of Mobutu Sese Seko. There's no difference between their accounts and the county accounts. And this goes back to the MCS. That for some reason, they don't have capacity or competence. And if they've capacity and competence, they've abandoned the mandate to make sure that they monitor the governor, they oversight the governor. We are told, I don't know whether it's the case, that the first thing a governor does is to cut deals with MCS so that they don't give him a beating. We understand also that majority of the time when you see MCS coming up in arms, it's because the governor has refused to give them a bit of the pie. That is when they do oversight. And that is part of the reason why Mr. Raila Odinga was saying that let the MCS do their work. But you know, the senators said no, because we also understand that also senators, they want a bit of the cake. You recall President Ruto saying that there's a governor who was spotted with 150 million in the precincts of the National Assembly. So one wonders, what was the purpose of that 150 million, Bob? And you'd also remember some said you were told that if you want a bill or a motion to go through the National Assembly, people would be given 10,000 Bob, khaki envelopes in a bathroom. But can you imagine what 150 million can do? And this 150 million is not profit. This is money probably coming from a supplier, coming from a cartel or special interest groups. This is money meant to serve morale. So in a nutshell, devolution in a good part has been a success, but the biggest beneficiaries are the elected leaders within the counties and public servants within the counties. The amount of money these charges are being leveled upon these guys people are talking about. I mean, as Will had indicated, that in the past there was corruption, but now Murak can see corruption next door. And you're talking about 150 million, you're talking about $1 billion, and it's just amazing. And then the proposal by Mr. Raila Odinga, that probably we have too many counties in Kenya, is typical of the way the Kenyan politicians, take Kenyans for granted. Mr. Raila Odinga has been part and parcel of the constitution-making process. In fact, we give him a good credit for the 2010 constitution. So when did Mr. Raila Odinga realize that in fact 47 counties are so many? When did he realize that? This again points to the level of mischief we have in our politicians, that when things work for their interests, 47 counties are amazing. But if it's not, then they say no, they're not viable.
Interesting. Dr. Will, I believe your mic is okay now. I want to bring you in on this. Please finish the point you were making and talk to us about this. Dismas has raised a point, and I want you guys to actually address. We've got a situation on our hands where the Auditor General has said over 370 billion shillings cannot be accounted for. 370 billion is close to what the counties used to get for a year. If I may do some roadside mathematics, it's like an entire year's worth of allocations has just vanished into thin air.
I don't think that's a problem of devolution, and I think we probably need just to situate this correctly. First, devolution has worked, because the spirit of devolution was very simple, that the resources and the functions that were initially centralized are now devolved to 47 counties. And that is a success, that resources are now closer to the people, so people have access to resources. And then number two, functions are closer to the people. People have access to government services at different counties, 47 of them. And then if you look at the spirit of devolution, there are certain things that we should celebrate in devolution, that each and every county has to come up with something called the County Integrated Development Plan. Now, these are things that were not there before the 2010 Constitution and the advent of devolution. And those are successes that we must appreciate, because they exist, resources are devolved every year, functions are closer to the people, and most importantly, the people are involved in what their county governments are doing. We have a county assembly that legislates, represents, and oversights. So the failures that we are seeing are not failures of devolution. Let us call them for what they are. They are failures of the leadership, especially the initial leaderships that we've had since devolution. I've done a number of studies on CIDPs and how their priority is to focus on the key economic activities in different counties. And you can actually see that there is progress, that what most of the counties used to do in the first term of the first generation of governors, second term, probably in the last 15 years. So the first, the second, and where we are right now, you can actually see progress. And I think to that extent, we need to celebrate devolution for what it has done. But secondly, we also need to be very critical of our roles in devolution. You don't expect corruption to disappear in thin air when you elect corrupt leaders. You don't expect MCAs, like Dismas is saying, and I must say that they're very dynamic, agile, and patriotic MCAs who are doing the right thing, but you don't condemn all the MCAs and devolution simply because, as the electorate, we elected a few errant MCAs who want to hold the governors hostage so that they are given tenders. So to a large extent, devolution, for me, has worked. But leadership has failed devolution. We have counties that have received a lot of resources, but you look at the amount that has gone into questionable, deals and into individuals' pockets, they are enormous. And we need not to blame devolution for that. We need to ask ourselves, how do we tighten, the structures within devolution to ensure that if there is any embezzlement, if there is any misuse of power, misuse of public resources, it is addressed. And to me, that is where devolution is failing. That devolution is failing on checks and balances. Devolution is failing on holding leadership accountable. And most importantly, the electorate is failing in helping this country realize the full fruits of devolution.
Now, I like the last point you've made, because we can actually throw it to the room.
Yep.
We have people here whose job is actually checks and balances, holding power to account, keeping the executive within the counties, on the straight and narrow. Bwana Speaker, I want you to talk to us about this. By the way, give us a little bit of your background.
Yes.
How long have you served in the county assembly? And
3 years.
The great people of
3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
In the 3 years,
Yes.
Tell me one thing before you give your point. What is it that you knew before you showed up to that scene, and what do you know now, and what's the difference?
I have to admit that the expectation that I had about devolution and the reality are stuck apart.
Why?
Of course, when you're out of office, you have some lofty ambitions. But when you see you take office, and you have a lot of constraints in terms of resource and the capacity, of course, you will have to scale down your ambitions. So I think, and that's something which probably is even applicable at the national level. I'm sure the manifesto and the philosophy that was driving the Kenya Kwanza team and the reality when they have assumed office are quite different. But I want to speak from a practical point of view.
Actually, just on that point,
Yes.
with your indulgence,
Yes.
I would like to put it to you and to everyone that that what you're describing as lofty ambition,
Yes.
that optimism
Yes.
that you had when you were walking into office,
Yes.
when you're vying and campaigning,
Yes.
I dare say it's the very same hope that Kenyans, millions of Kenyans have in their leaders, in this system. And the disappointment you feel can only be magnified a millionfold by the people that are saying all those dreams, all those hopes that we had are just vanishing into thin air.
Yes.
So talk to us about the practicalities.
I want to
As
speak
you were
from a
heading.
practical point of view on
Yes,
devolution.
please.
And I want to take an example of my county.
Right.
I was lucky because I was also in the first administration, 2013 to 2017. In terms of size, Wajir County is about 58,000 kilometers squared. That's 1/10 of Kenya. When devolution came into place, we only had one medical officer in that county, serving the population in 58,000 kilometers squared. Currently, we have 60 doctors. We had health staff of about 200. We now have about 1,100 medical staff. We had about 40 boreholes. We have upwards of 400 boreholes. The total civil servants in the county of Wajir when devolution was kicking in, was about 600. We have close to 4,500 staff in the civil service currently. So from a practical point of view, Wajir has witnessed transformation as a result of devolution. And if we take this from a historical perspective, we inherited a constitution from the colonial government that was federal in nature. There was a devolved form of governance. And then around 1965, the people who are now complaining about whether devolution is working or is not working, whether the counties are too many or so, this notion came in around 1965. And the people who wanted to centralize the governance structure of the country started talking about the cost implication of the Majimbo states. And in 1965, they abolished the Majimbos. And in 1966, the regional assemblies were also abolished. And then we became a unitary state. Just around 1966, or I don't think it was, I think 1965, there was this paper which was called Sessional Paper Number 10, which came in with the idea that the state will pour into resources to productive areas. And large parts of the country were now marginalized and they were excluded from development.
Because they were deemed to be unproductive.
Unproductive. That is, you put resource, there was not much that was coming out of it, and because of that reason, the nation had a right to marginalize those areas. And now the northern parts, certain parts of Rift Valley were completely neglected. And that's why I'm saying when devolution was coming in, we only had one medical officer who was serving 58,000 kilometers square, 1/10 of the country. And a huge progress has been made. Now, when we see people complaining about devolution, of course, we do admit it has weaknesses. And largely what people complain about is cost and corruption. In terms of costs, I believe the benefits that devolution has brought to the country far outweighs the cost. And in any case, it's only 15% of the revenue of the nation that goes to devolution. 85% is still centralized. And in terms of the number of counties, I will tend to think that this idea of complaining about the number of counties, just the same people who are complaining about the Majimbo states and the cost, it's a desire to have these resources that are devolved, that has transformed the nation, be brought back to the unitary state so that they can be centralized. And we deny the people the benefits and the transformation that devolution has brought.
You mentioned something, and it's interesting. One of the good books,
yes.
I believe there's multiple religions here with respect to them. One of the good books says, he who is accountable, or he who is faithful with little, can be trusted with much.
Yes.
In this discussion and other discussions we've had before in this studio, we hear representatives from the counties saying, after all, we're only getting 15% of what is actually coming into the country. But the question is, what have you done with the 15%? And I throw this to all of you. What have you done with the 15%? Have you been accountable? Have you been faithful with the 15%? And if we're seeing the amount of transformation that you have very eloquently explained, in Wajir over just a short span of 13 years,
yes.
Can you just imagine what would have been done if every single coin was accounted for properly? And to the point that Dr. Wheeler asked, and I want to throw it to you and to the others, please, let's contribute. Where is the difficulty when it comes to holding power to account? The checks and balances is something a lot of Kenyans can agree the counties and the county assemblies are letting the country down. They're letting the people down. Checks and balances. Why, for instance, why would we have governors actually showing up on the radar of the EACC if the people in the counties who had the responsibilities for checks and balances had actually done their job? This is a question that a normal Mwananchi would ask. And what is your answer to that? And as you cook up your answer, Bwana Speaker, let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I'm actually really waiting for this because I really feel that many of us Kenyans have refused to see the truth. I was just listening to my brother here, and I really felt, yes, I need to respond to whatever he said. Because
what is the truth?
Kenya is a country.
What's the truth?
Kenya is a country, is a family.
Mm-hmm.
And a family, and when I'm speaking to the young people that want to get married and such, I usually tell them that when you get married, you don't live with the person you married. You live with the person you realize you married.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reality in a family setup. And Kenya is a family. And I want just to say that we have refused to look at the bigger picture and want to look at this child that was just born the other day like he is the owner of all sins in the family. That is devolution. And coming from what he said about every other year that a civil servant said that every other year that there's an election after an election, we get 47 new billionaires. I think I'll look at it from the other side. that is also good. If this money has been in Nairobi alone, and somebody, one person has been sitting on it, and today that money has gone back to the people, and we have 47 new billionaires who are investing in 47 regions of the country, then these 47 billionaires are also creating employment. That is looking at it from the positive side of it. But again, these 47 billionaires, where are they coming from? They're coming from Kenya. And the reason I'm saying that we have refused to look at the truth is because we have looked at devolution at the counties and the county assemblies as if the 85% that is left with the national government is properly utilized.
Hang on a second. I hoped you'd clarify on this.
Yes.
Are you endorsing or being an apologist of corruption? Are you saying these billionaires are actually justified by virtue of them being part of the family?
At any level trying to justify the 47 billionaires. But I'm only saying, if now corruption has become the reality in the country, and if those billionaires actually become billionaires out of process of corruption, then it means we have devolved that corruption from a certain point in this country and have taken it to the people. So we are the same Kenyans who are corrupt.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
And I ask you this question not because I have any agenda.
Yes.
But it does seem like you have accepted that this corruption, since it's a part of us and it's a part of the family, then it is acceptable.
I have not accepted.
Coming from a person who's supposed to be actually representing the people. Would you...
If you just allowed me to finish.
Yes, please.
Before interjecting.
Please.
You know, I just wanted to start from a point of reference from what you said, that we have 47 new billionaires every other election year. That is new governors. And devolution actually is one result of trying to address corruption in this country. Because you cannot tell me when we had one state at Nairobi, and all resources, like what my brother said, the speaker, all resources were actually taken to a certain region. Whether those resources were stolen or not, that was also corruption. Because some particular people of this nation were denied their rights. You understand? So, what I mean by saying that these 47 billionaires, and I said I just want to become the devil's advocate for that particular matter.
I see.
I'm saying that these resources that were not available to particular people in this country have now been availed, and now these people, what we need to do now for us to address these 47 billionaires is not looking at it like devolution is the one that is creating these billionaires. It is the same evil of corruption that was there when it was one-party state, when it was a unitary government, and these billionaires are coming from the same country, Kenya. So what we are saying is, to address this issue, we don't look at devolution as if it is the cause of the 47 billionaires. The cause of the 47 new billionaires is the same blood that we have of corruption.
Right. Okay,
so the reason,
fair enough.
Allow me just to finish.
I think you've made that point.
Victor,
but
can I just offer clarity on what I said?
Yes.
This is not my words. It's reports from the accountability institutions, the Auditor General, the Controller of Budgets, and other people who have done research. That corruption is domiciled in county governments. And it's very clear. If you go through the Auditor General's reports, year in, year out, it indicates that. So those are not my words. Number two, it's embarrassing, but not shocking, that an MCA who's been elected, who has been given the responsibility of oversight, responsibility, and legislation, can actually say that if there is a corruption in Nairobi and it's come to my county, it's not a big deal. So let's deal in corruption.
And I pray that I'm not misquoted.
And it's very short.
Right. You should allow me, because I want this debate, and actually I said it deliberately.
So can I ask you a direct question?
Yes, ask a direct question.
As a person who's entrusted by the people to push the agenda of checks and balances, as a person who, indirectly or directly, you're actually in charge of fighting that very corruption that you're talking about.
Yes.
I asked the question, where is the difficulty in checks and balances? Where is the struggle to make sure, and by the way, the Constitution that delivered this devolution, you're saying devolution shouldn't be blamed. I agree with you. But the same constitution carried the will of the people, the desire of the people to end corruption. And there are things in the constitution that are provided for, that are there for that very purpose. And one of those things is you. So
yes.
Are you failing?
Just allow me to finish, Mheshimiwa.
Are you doing...
Because the question is, yes.
Where is the difficulty when it comes to addressing corruption at the counties as an MCA who's supposed to do checks and balances?
Actually, I want to give you my background so that you understand from where I come from.
Please just help me.
Yes, I will. I want to answer your question. And don't force me into answering the way you want it. Allow me give you the truth and the reality. And the reason why I put that statement. And it was good. Yeah. It was good that I said it because it is now actually making the debate live. Now, I will tell you this. In the first assembly, and that is the first county government, that is 2013 to 2017. If you look at the auditor's reports, the Auditor General's reports, and then you compare with between 2017 and 2022, and then now compare what is happening between now 2022 and beyond, you realize the same Auditor General is citing some improvements in terms of oversight, in terms of representation, in terms of legislation. The first county government, 2013-2017, there were no institutions, rather legislations, to assist in actually oversight. And that is what the assemblies actually started doing. I'll tell you that in the second assembly, where now I was elected as the first MCA, I became the first chairman, not first chairman, but the second chairman, Public Accounts Committee in the County Assembly of Embu.
Which means you're in a good position to answer my question.
Yes, that is the question I want to answer now.
Difficulty
in the difficulty, there's no difficulty, yet there are challenges, because difficulty and challenge is different.
Tell us more about that.
The challenges is we are growing. Devolution is a new phenomenon in Kenya. We are growing.
It's been 15 years. Is this still new?
Yes, but a child is born. At 15 years, this child is supposed to be either in Form 4 or someplace. This child is not yet an adult.
Is this an accurate description? A human lifespan versus...
The problem with you, the problem with you is you don't want to allow that I finish.
And I'm sorry, sir, but the problem is you're not answering my question.
Allow me first finish my statement before you just go to another person.
There are burning issues here. Let's hear from you, sir, and then the gentleman in front of you. Please hold.
Yes. I will still answer your question.
Honorable Omunyangoli, I said it right, I hope. Please be on standby, Honorable Ochieng, and then the rest of the room. What's your good name and what's your point? Quick as you can.
Thank you. My name is Robert Mbai, and I'm an aspiring MP. Now, I want to
disagree.
Where are you from? From Machakos.
Karibu.
Mavoko.
Okay, Karibu.
I want to disagree with what you have just been saying about this devolution. I think devolution is a failure, total failure. One, because if you check the statistics, in 2002, when we had the Kibaki government, the poverty rate in Kenya was 56%. In 2013, it was 46%. Today, it is 36%. That's a trend of 10, right? Now, in 15 years, we have this county government, or rather devolution, which you are saying has brought development to the people. But now, if you check the statistics, from 2013, we have been spending more than what we have been collecting as a country. Look at which year, from 2013, 2014, budget of 2015, 2017, 2015, up to date, we have been spending more than what we have been raising as a country. So what does that tell you? We are just burdening ourselves, in other terms. So if you look at what we are investing and what we are getting now, even leaving the issue of corruption and incompetence and misuse and all the other factors, then I think we need to recheck again. Somebody said, I don't know, said that when we were drafting the devolution, the original draft, they had proposed 18 counties, but the draft was hijacked toward the final stages. And Naivasha, the team that went to Naivasha, that brought about the final document, they brought 47 counties, which I think they now brought this mess that we are having today. I don't think we are doing positively in terms of county, because...
All right. Thank you, sir. Let's hear from you.
Hello, Victor.
And please pass the mic to that gentleman.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
Victor, my name is Vidar Menge. I'm a Gen Z from Kitui County and an activist. It really pains a lot to see a two-term MCA trying to show us the benefits of corruption. Come on, the real issue is the rule of law. How do we make corruption unprofitable? How do we punish corruption? How do we end favorism? How do we end nepotism? And then you hear a two-term MCA trying to show us, trying to justify corruption and show us the benefits of corruption. Bana, Embu people need to vote this man.
Let's keep it respectful. Let the weight of your point be louder. Let's hear from that gentleman right at the corner. You're next.
Thank you. My name is Benson.
Yes, Benson.
I come from Tadora.
Yes, Benson.
You know, I get worried because my home place is Tharaka and I pass through Embu. But when these elected leaders, they come to TV shows and start justifying corruption, I get worried. Most of the time I work on taxes.
But he didn't.
I work
Who justified corruption?
I work on, no, just
we'll
give me my time, Mheshimiwa.
Let's hear from you.
We gave you a time, just to give me a time.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
proceed.
Mheshimiwa, from Embu. You know, like I want just to talk about this housing program because I can see it's a very big mess in this country. The other day, President said that he has invested a lot on the housing program and he has employed most of the young people, particularly the engineers who are graduating. But now, according to the database of the Engineers Board of Kenya and the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, we have about 28,000 engineers in the country. And you find that 55% of them, they are already unemployed. And now the president and the devolved leaders who are already elected, they come before the eyes of the people lying to them of how devolution is working, where else they are stealing.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you. Let's hear from you, madam. And you're next. The guys at the back, are you interested? Are you with us? All right, excellent.
For those who are joining now, my name is Lynette.
From Woodley.
From Woodley.
What's your point, please?
My point is...
Hold the mic close to your mouth.
Okay, my point is we are electing bad leaders. You know, when you're elected to be a leader, you must be intentional to work for the people. But these leaders, they are not working for the people. They are working for themselves. And when they loot, they know they have the godfathers. Because if we have good presidency, and you know, this governor is doing the wrong thing, but now we have, if he's a governor, they have godfathers. They'll go, they'll be protected, they'll do this and that. So we have bad leaders. That's one, we need to agree for that. We have bad leaders in Kenya. Because if you're a father, you need to set a good example for your children. But they're not doing that.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you voted in this country?
Yes.
How many times?
From 2007.
All right, hang on to that. Dr. Owila said that one of the failures, one of the things that has got us to where we are, is that we, the people, the voters,
yes,
are consistently electing the wrong leaders, corrupt leaders.
Exactly.
Do you bear, do you carry, do you accept any responsibility for the situation where we find ourselves in?
You know what happens? These leaders, they come with good words. They tell us they'll do this, they'll do that, you know? They tell us.
But they say once bitten, twice shy.
No,
how many times have you been bitten from 207?
Oh my God, I've had so many heartbreaks with this politics. But let me tell you, we have bad governance in this country.
So how do we fix it?
We need to vote people who are intentional to lead this country to a better place.
And how do we do that?
How do we do that? We need people who are accountable. If you're not accountable, you just go home. There's no other thing. We have people who are saying we have been here for like centuries. We've had MPs for like 20 years. Doing what?
Okay, all right. Let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you. Actually, allow me to challenge one of my aspirants as well with someone who is even in support of corruption. Let me tell you, as a healthcare professional as well, I'm an aspirant as well. The fact that we are talking about devolution is not because we don't know exactly how it is. The fact that you are saying corruption is not the cause. The cause is all about inclusivity. The fact that we don't have inclusivity, the time we are deriving corruption. And this corruption, if you are an MCA and you are in support of this, definitely you are failing your people, and because they are the one who elected you, and as well, you are failing us as a Kenyan people. So, the fact that we are talking here about devolution and constitution, it's very simple. If you have a look on the constitution, it says that with the devolution, every county is able to get at least some funds so that it can run about the roads, health, and ensure everything is okay. But the fact that we are talking about and saying that the fact that we are saying about the fact that we are saying about corruption being the key. No, it's all about the inclusivity.
All right.
And if we definitely add that, of course, we will end corruption. Corruption cannot be ended by us having a region or either reducing the counties.
All right, thank you. Now, I want to bring in some of the people in the room who need to have their voices heard. But for the sake of the fire that has been coming, just a quick...
I have a right of reply.
A quick yes or no. A quick yes or no before we circle back to the point. A quick yes or no. Do you actually, on national television, do you support corruption or not?
I don't support corruption. I actually fight corruption.
All right, all right. But I asked you about how you do that, and there was different. Okay, let's.
No, I have a right of reply.
Indeed, we'll come to you, but let's allow some more voices in. Honorable Aziaya, then Honorable Ochieng, and then Honorable Omunyangoli.
Thank you. I want to diffuse this delusion in the room that MCAs support corruption. First and foremost, the work of an MCA is to represent, legislate, and oversight. Mm-hmm. We need to ask ourselves, to what extent, and I have our speaker in the House, to what extent can an MCA oversight a governor? Mm-hmm. To what extent?
1%.
What do you mean?
Let me explain what I mean. To what extent can MCAs oversight a governor? This is a committee of the House that is formed like Public Accounts Committee. They go through Auditor General's report and the findings. They call the governor and they do these findings are okay. There was theft here, there was misuse of funds here. MCAs will make a report. The committee will make a report to the House.
Yes.
The report will be voted for by the House. That is the end. The report, now the resolutions of the House will be communicated to the executive. If need be, they will be forwarded. The resolutions of the House will be forwarded to other agencies like ESCC, because Assembly does not arrest. Assembly does not have prosecution powers. We will forward it to ESCC, to DCI. Those are the government agencies that have prosecution powers. So number one thing that we need to agree on the national TV is assemblies will oversight and will find the fault, but they don't have powers to prosecute. They only have powers to recommend and forward recommendations to those people who have prosecution powers. I can tell you I've been a member of the Assembly and a chairman Public Accounts Committee, where we found a company that had been awarded works to do renovation to a hospital at 17 million. And those works were not done. And that company had invoiced to be paid. We, as members of the committee, we made a recommendation that that company should not be paid and the directors of that company should be prosecuted. We forwarded the recommendations to the executive. And we have an implementation committee that calls the executive after a certain period of time to find out whether the resolutions of the assembly have been adhered to.
So what happened in that particular case?
After around 4 years, the contractor went to court without even the assembly knowing to go and demand for payments. And I found out last year the contractor was awarded by the courts. The same courts that are supposed to be assisting us in fight corruption, right? The same report we forwarded to ESCC. Have we, so many cases go to ESCC. Only a fraction comes out.
So in your
opinion,
many
cases.
Where is the difficulty? Where is the issue?
The difficulty, number two, I wanted to give 2 points.
Please.
The second point of how far MCAs can oversight the executive. In these counties, and I have my sister from Kakamega will bear you witness, where governor come from. We have those MCAs and the people, governor is a politician. He will go to his people and tell them, your MCA is fighting me. He was elected to come and work for you, look for development for you, but he's fighting me. Now he will go and poison the people that you are seen as if you are fighting the governor. You are not seen as you are oversighting. And oversight in itself It's a role of MCAs, and the public should know that. But once a governor goes to the people and tells the people, this MCA was elected to come and work for you, but now he has turned to fight me. Now the people will turn against you. In the assembly, governors, I can confirm on national TV, we have governors who buy some members. When you start oversighting, some members are compromised, and then they turn against you. They start saying now, this member does not want our governor. And in most cases, where the constituency where governor comes from, those members are put in a corner, and they are compromised, and they say, we don't want to fight our own. Not forgetting that it is our role to oversight.
All right.
Just a point, just a point of clarification. Yeah?
Yes, please.
Because I think Kenyans need to understand this. I agree with what Mheshimiwa says, that there could be challenges here and there. But Kenyans need to understand that Article 195 of the Constitution gives a committee of any county assembly in this country, and there are 47 of them, powers that are equivalent to the powers of a high court. Now, they can summon any person to appear before them. Any person, be it the governor, the CECs, the chief officers, including contractors. And they can even institute a commission of inquiry to investigate these people. Maybe the MCA, the Honorable MCA, should tell us, at what point have we seen his county assembly summon anyone, even the contractor, in a public space and instituted proceedings, and even given those reports to either the office of the DPP, DCI, or EACC. And I think that is where the elephant is. Either most of these county assembly members don't understand the power that they have, or they use that power for political expediency.
All right.
Victor, allow me so that the MCs answer it in unison.
I assure you, we will be crucified because we haven't let the voices.
No, just 30 seconds.
I believe you're a genius. I know you can keep that question percolating in your mind as we wait for this. Honorable Omunyangoli, are you listening to this, and are you listening to what Dr. Willa is talking about? Where is the difficulty when it comes to that? Clearly, we understand, and you're holding the Constitution, that you are empowered to do this. The oversight, you're empowered. Where is the difficulty?
Do I just say it the way it is?
The way it
call us spade a spade.
Shoot from the hip.
Shoot from the hips.
Yeah. The problem of oversight for the MCAs are like three.
Okay.
Number one, the MCA has the mandate to oversight the executive and the governors who have more resources than the MCA. They will not say this, but the truth of the matter is the remuneration of the members of the county assembly is extremely low. So if a governor that earns almost 1,000 times what the MCAs earn comes to be oversighted, they are summoned, as is expected by the Constitution, they will come with money. And the MCAs take money. That is the truth.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So the billionaires give money.
If you take the money, it means there's no way you're going to oversight someone that has fed you. Let us be realistic.
Okay.
It is not easy to point out a mistake of someone that has fed you. It therefore means the MCAs and other leaders that have their mandate to oversight have failed in their role. We cannot run away from that. That we have also just failed in our role to oversight the executive. And why have we failed? Because we are afraid of intimidation. The moment you point out issues that needs to be oversighted, the moment you point out issues that needs to be looked into, you are frustrated in committees, you are removed from the committees, you are discriminated, you are intimidated, and there's these cocoons that come up from the region. You know, politics is local. So, and leaders are coming from local regions, local areas. So you have people that now gang up against you simply because you've touched on their kingpin. So it is not really easy for the MCAs to do oversight unless structures are put into place to safeguard the interest of the MCA.
And what are some of the structures?
Part of that structure is now, when we go back to the remuneration board, the committee, they need to rethink how are we going to empower and strengthen the members of the county assembly to ensure that they are able to bring out They are able to sit down and oversight the executive, oversight the members of the governors.
Can I ask
Number two?
Can I ask a question on that point, if you may? If the issue, and I'm wildly summarizing, if the issue is hunger, that the MCAs are not properly paid, and therefore when the guy comes with billions splashing around when you've called him, it's difficult to oversight such a person. Is there an amount that an MCA can be paid that can then buy back their freedom or their independence? Is there a number? Is there a salary?
I don't think that's the question.
You're asking
No, just,
me that.
yes, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
So allow me to respond.
Yes, please.
There is no specific amount, smaller or greater, that an MCA can be paid that can let them do proper oversight. That's what I want to say. What I need to say is that there is this package that can be given to the members of county assembly to safeguard them even as they do their oversight.
How?
You see, it is very open that the governors, the executive, you understand, are able to influence the members of the county assembly.
Using money?
Using money. And using powers and positions.
And intimidation?
Yes.
So you're saying there's a kitty that should be given to MCAs to safeguard them?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
Allow me. I beg ignorance.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Could you clarify?
What I meant is this. Within the remuneration of the members of the county assembly, who are mandated to oversight the governor, to summon the executive, to summon even the contractors, you understand?
Yes.
There must be a certain structure that has been put in place, and that is within the CAF, that the members of the county assembly need to be protected enough, you understand, for them to have capacity to do proper oversight. They are not doing it now.
I hear you, and I would like to know, what is it that you would like, for example, you're a serving MCA, what would you like to be given to allow you to function without fear or favor?
I'll pass that to the Speaker.
All right, Honorable Speaker, percolate on that. Let's hear from Honorable Miki.
Allow me to say this. As much as it seems laughable, it's a serious matter.
Yeah.
And when she's talking about the remuneration of MCAs, it's not just about how much the MCAs are paid. The assumption out here is most MCAs are not learned. But really, when we look at it, what does an MCA need to vie? What does an MP need to vie? It's an ID. There's not really an educational background for you to stand on. So the assumption is these are, for lack of a better word, and I do not want to say that word, these are not learned, these are uncultured, so they do not deserve a certain payment. And if you look, and if we take an example for the national level, there's a percentage that MPs are paid to the president's amount, to the speaker's amount. The amount that you're being paid, if you check it against what the speakers are being paid, what the governors are being paid, and what the CECs are being paid. Here you are asking these MCAs who are paid peanuts, and really peanuts, you are asking them to summon these CECs. An MCA who's earning 86,000, you're telling them to summon a CEC who's earning over 400,000 shillings to come in, and you're telling them to summon a governor. Let me just put this in perspective.
I'm sorry, and I think I speak for a lot of Kenyans. With respect,
yes,
I fail to see why money should be the empowering or disempowering factor.
Allow me to respond. Money is important in this sense. Let's not pretend like it's not an issue. You are working here, Kevin. Today, if they said they will be giving you 10,000 or say 50,000 to be here up to midnight doing these kinds of interviews, it's not commensurate to the work. It should be commensurate to the work that you're doing as an MCAs. MCAs is the first line of emergency for Mwananchi. The proximity to the people makes it difficult, because when a child is not going to school, when a parent has an issue with a child who's not going to school, you are the first person they call. When there's a funeral, even before the announcement of that dead person, you are the first person that is being called. When there's any problem within the community, there's an accident, you are the first line. So sometimes you need money. And I do not think that Kenyans ask because they want to ask. People are in very desperate situations sometimes. So it's important that you call your leader for help. So then it means it's really necessary for MCAs to be better remunerated. And I know most of Kenyans say that they're bad leaders. I tell you, and they're aspirants today in this room, when they get to these seats tomorrow, they'll be the bad leaders that we have. They'll be the bad leaders that we have.
Honorable, by the way,
it's an assumption.
It is actually a reality, and I'm not trying to throw a bone to you, but we must acknowledge reality that our system is such that when the community is in need, the first line of defense is a leader. But this is a broken system that needs to be fixed. Sure. However, and maybe thank you for shifting it to Bwana Speaker, there is still the question, which has not been answered satisfactorily, of
where is the difficulty?
Where is the difficulty? And one of the difficulties that's been mentioned is remuneration.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I asked a question. Is there a figure, is there a number that once that number hits your account as a member of the county assembly, you will now be confident enough, capable, competent, capacitous
and
enough to be able to hold the governor to account? I mean it as innocently as it comes. If the money that you're getting is too low, what is the amount that can allow you to actually exercise oversight properly?
It's not an amount.
What is it then?
It's a job group.
Which relates to an account,
yes,
an amount?
This can be cured by a job group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Right now,
yes.
and Mr. Speaker, I think...
You're next, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Mr. Speaker, help us.
Thank you. I think, first of all...
Is this valid? Is this genuinely the people that you look after as a speaker?
It's not valid.
It's not. Tell us
no
why.
Amount of legislation. In fact, I think it's the only constitution in the whole world that addresses corruption. Because in our constitution, we have a whole chapter on leadership and integrity.
Correct.
I tend to think no amount of legislation will be able to cure corruption in Kenya. That is purely an integrity or a character issue. But there's a valid point which I think we as Kenyans and the leadership of the country needs to revisit, which is the role of MCA and the place of county assemblies. And this, I think, was a mischief which was created when we were implementing the Constitution. The design of the Constitution meant that the county assemblies were supposed to be powerful institutions that are able to oversee and oversight the executive.
That's the vision.
That was the vision. Mm-hmm. What has been created, and I think this was a deliberate attempt by the National Assembly then, and it's not only on the part of the county assemblies, but I think this is a problem even the Senate is suffering, which they are trying to cure now by a constitutional amendment bill, which I think some of us who are there today, was that these two parliaments, those two assemblies, were weakened. So much so that today, let me give you an example. An MP vets a cabinet secretary or a principal secretary. But the money that the MP gets is way above what the PS gets. What's happening in the counties is that the MCA gets quarter of the salary that the chief officer gets, or 1/6 the salary of a CC. For those of us who have done management and accounting, that does not make sense. It doesn't make any logic. Why does it not make logic? Because, and I have qualified this by saying, you cannot avoid corruption by paying person. It's a character issue, it's an integrity issue. But I think the most important thing that we need to take into account is that we need to empower the county assemblies in terms of capacity and in terms of remuneration. Look at it this way. how many accountants, how many engineers, how many doctors will you be able to convince or will be able to aspire to be MCAs so that they can have the capacity to not only oversight, for you to be able to oversight, you must be able to interrogate documents. You must be able to question.
Bwana Speaker, I have a question on that point, and I think it's a very persistent question.
Yes.
Fair enough. We hear you.
Yes.
We hear you.
Yes.
But again, I ask, if tomorrow, by some legislative miracle, more money is actually sent to this capacity that we're talking about,
yes,
will it cure the problem overnight?
It will not, certainly not.
And is there a figure that will immediately, miraculously infuse the sitting MCA with courage, capacity, confidence, and integrity, which is what you said, to actually summon and hold
I think it's good. I think it's good you get me right.
But is it? Is it?
Look, what I'm saying,
guys, is this a valid question?
Let me.
But you know what he said, yeah?
Let me finish. Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Please finish.
Let me finish.
The point I'm trying to say is, see, devolution is working. The Constitution is working. We have certain weaknesses and limitations. How do we cure that? And the point I'm making is, in the process of trying to implement the Constitution, there were missteps that were done. In my honest opinion, the place of the county assemblies, I will tend to think, adjusted for inflation and cost of living, I will tend to think the former councillors were even paid more than the current MCS. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So I'm saying, in an attempt to empower and build the capacity of the MCS and to strengthen the position of the county assemblies so that they're able to oversee the executive, and this is something which I think SRC has failed to address, and it has been on our desk for quite a long time. The ability of the assemblies to attract professionals to be able to interrogate documents and be able to hold accountable the executive depends on how well they are remunerated. It's not a cure, it's not a panacea to that problem, but I think it goes a long way in trying to solve that problem.
All right, we're coming to this side of the room. Get a mic ready, get ready with your answer. You were itching.
Yes, I was itching to say something, yeah. Now the MCAs you have here, I think this is a very lovely formation. They've actually called a spade, and their admission is part of the reason why Kenyans are saying to hell with devolution. Because from the statements they're making, they've demonstrated that in a good part, they don't have the character, capacity, and competence for their responsibility. That is number one. Number two, a poor workman
not
always blame his tools.
Adjudicator, I think you need to hold that.
No.
The right of reply is coming.
Yeah, a poor workman.
But that's not what was said.
A poor workman,
you will reply.
Yeah, a poor workman will always blame his or her tools. Now, we're being told here that because the governor earns, say, $1 million bob and earn 100,000, therefore I cannot oversight. You posed the question repeatedly.
No, we didn't say that.
What amount of money would you earn so that you can do the oversight? Nobody is answering that question. Number three, Kenyans have got a very high appetite for good leaders. But for some reason, when you go to the ballot box, we don't get the good leaders we deserve. And we've said time above number that it's about meritocracy. Meritocracy. Now, during our interaction with some of the MCAs, members of the National Assembly and Senate, they don't even understand the auditor's reports. They don't know the difference between qualified reports and qualified adverse. They don't know those opinions. Now, some of them in this panel have indicated that when they see a governor approaching from that door, they use that exit. That a governor intimidates them, that the fear of losing an election makes them take a back seat.
Are you saying that their concerns are not...
I think this must...
Hang on,
hold on.
Order. Allow me to protect you. Order. Indeed, order.
This is not what we said.
Order, honorable members, order. A right of reply. let's allow this to play out. A right of reply.
You need to hold him accountable.
No, let me
in a moment.
But you seem to be...
In a moment.
What we have said, and that's not right.
In a moment,
please.
sir.
Let me make my last statement.
Make your point.
Yeah, the last statement.
And allow them to respond.
One of the MCAs has indicated that in every county you come from a constituency, that if you go against the governor will decampaign you.
Is that valid?
The phobia is that if you go against the governor by pointing out all these impunity, mediocrity, and corruption, the governor will decampaign you. So the fear of losing an election makes these MCAs, wakiona governor hapa, they take the exit.
So I have a question to you, Mr. Mukua. All MCAs, by definition, are politicians.
Of course.
And political realities are realities. Are you saying then that they should sacrifice their political ambitions and realities on the altar of accountability, on the altar of holding the power to account? Is that the position?
You remember we had leaders like James Orengo, Shikuku, Anyona, who stood in a parliament where President Moi had absolute powers, but they had the guts to speak out. So if we fear governors, then let's say, do away with the county assemblies, do away with the speaker's position, and give the governor the opportunity to run the county as he deems fit, because these people have abandoned their constitutional responsibility because they fear the governor is going to intimidate them and they're going to lose the election.
All right, Dr. Wheeler.
Yeah, I think they deserve a right of reply.
They do.
Let me just...
They do, and we have the time for that.
Yes.
But I need your injection before they respond.
Yes. Just to put my understanding of what they've said in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
At no point did they question the characters of MCAs.
Yes.
They did not glorify corruption.
Yes.
And we cannot vilify them for speaking reality as it is. And I think the point they're making is not about how much they're paid or how much MCAs are paid. The point they're making is we have a very progressive constitution that has given too much weight of power to the executive at the county level, at the expense of the people we expect to hold the executive. And I think that's the elephant in the room. I don't think payment is the issue. The issue is the perception that people have of who a governor is. The issue is what we've bestowed as powers to the CECs, vis-a-vis how we look at the county assemblies. And I can tell you without any fear of contradiction that if county assemblies are empowered, and I'm not talking about money, if county assemblies as a collegiality talks about the powers that they have, reassures the public that this is what we have, and if there is anything that as your representative you need us to do, rest assured that powers will come for us, but we need to have you as the public. And I think that's a very germane conversation that the public also needs to be sensitized, that when a governor goes errand, when CECs are running amok, the MCA is the last line of defense. And if someone is coming for that MCA, it is the public that is supposed to protect that MCA. Now, if the public has to support that MCA, then the lever of power has to be equivalent. It is not a question of how much they are paid, but what is the power balance. And I think that's the conversation.
All right. Now,
right of reply.
Now, indeed, absolute right of reply. You've got it.
Yes.
In a moment, I want you to digest that. As you think about your right of reply, I really want us to have a conversation that is progressive, that actually offers solutions. And so, I asked this question. I've asked it in different angles, but let me ask it this way. If these are the challenges, I asked what are the difficulties? And then my question to you right now is that, so then how can we fix it? What are the proposals that you put in place? And the answer that I've received as far as proposals is capacity. And the one that has gotten by far the most explanation is financial capacity. Now, think about, and I want us to share, it's an honest conversation, fair. I want us to talk about what we can do to fix it. But allow me to diffuse some pressure that's been building up on this side as we come back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, please speak. Our future honorable member from Korea.
Yes, Jason.
Are they all aspirants, by the way?
No, I believe not. I believe not. It just so happens that some of them are. What is your point,
things are
please?
standing now, we started well. AMA devolution started well. But MCA, they are losing it. You are being beaten at your own game. Because once you are elected, actually, you people, you just forget your responsibilities and duties. Then you follow your desires. Right? Then you have actually decided to play sycophants in most of the counties. You guys, you fear governors. Government does not have your vote. You are the person who actually has, you are the person supposed to vote for that governor. So there is no way that person can actually intimidate you in any way. It doesn't make sense to anyone.
But yet it happens. The reality is that he described.
Those guys, they have chosen to become sycophants.
So you're saying these realities are by choice.
Stand for the truth.
You will see these things.
And stand by the people. Let me ask you, did your governor voted for you last election?
Probably.
Your mic, please. We need to hear you.
Did your governor voted for you in the last election?
Probably.
There's absolutely no way to prove that.
If you, from your word, then he can vote.
All right,
because
all right.
that
Fair
person
enough.
has just one vote. So there is no way he can intimidate you that you will not be elected in the next election. Stand for the truth. Stand by the people who sent to the county assembly to represent their grievances. Thank you.
All right, all right. Let's hear from you. The gentleman at the back, we haven't heard from you. Not you, sir. We'll come to you in a moment. The gentleman right at the back. Your name and your point, please.
It's okay. Well, my name is Felix Kwach from Kasarani constituency.
Karibu.
I'm a youth leader in Jiro Ward and also aspiring MCA 2027.
I see.
So there's this issue to do with the devolution, and we have been talking about the main background of why devolution was brought. First of all is for grassroots representation, and we are speaking about grassroots representation. We are speaking about the general public, not the executives, because we are being elected by the general people. So corruption is corruption. Either way you are trying to put on clothes and sanitize it, it still remains corruption. My sister over there just said, I was keenly listening. She said that just because the governor is going to offer them money, they will take that bribe because of the reality. Now, you people are talking about realities. If we speak about realities, are we not supposed to go to elections? Yes, the reality is that people are getting bribed. So should we continue to, what is the essence of voting then? What is the essence of voting if you are speaking about reality? And that's why I'm echoing what my brother here is saying, that devolution was supposed to bring accountability. And accountability based on, for example, an MCA represents his ward people. And if the MCA is fearing the governor, just because the governor maybe has some powers and have some money, and because of your political ambitions. When you are being elected, it's not all about your political ambitions. It is because of your will, your mandate that you have promised your residents to vote for you. So corruption is corruption. And the senior here is asking a very nice question. What can be done? What is the solution? And maybe I can give one solution.
Please.
Let these independent boards, for example, the judicial system, the parliamentary system, let them be independent. In that, because, for example, if we can speak right now, and maybe something just happened, the MCS, something happened, the MCS to be, their salaries to be reduced. You will see all these MCS going to calling press. For example, look at the parliament the other day.
All right. Thank you. Please, one line to finish your point before we move.
Just a minute.
To somebody else who hasn't spoken much. Let's hear from you, sir, this gentleman here. And then we'll come to you. And then right of reply as well as solutions.
Yes.
Progress.
Looking at devolution, Victor, you need to look at from different dimensions. You need to look at the problems and the solutions, and you need to look at the breakthroughs you can get through the devolution and how are they going to bring that benefit. For example, let's say, let's say the question now, the MCAs are complaining, the CECs, they are supposed to oversight, they are getting more money than them. So tomorrow morning, we as Gen Z should say, and should go to the street and say the CEC should cut down salaries to become the equal to the MCA. If that is what you want for you to oversight them, then the CECs, let them have 50,000 salary. Let them have 400,000. And then another thing, when you hear a gentleman who is elected or wants to be elected and shows you a signal of corruption the way this MCA, honorable MCA done.
Let's be civil.
It is not right.
All right, all right.
It is not right.
All right, pass the mic to the gentleman behind you. Let's hear from you, sir.
Thank you. I have one point that I want to put across. Information is power. And in the Article 1 of our Kenyan Constitution states that the power belongs to the people. Now, I heard what Honorable Vincent said, Asiaya. I think it's true they are getting that intimidations in those assemblies. But now, why can't they now triple this information back to the people so that people can have this information and the power will come back to these MCAs? Because these are the people who are electing them. Rather than just being silent, they keep silent and they put their interest first. Let's triple this information down to the people who are electing us, to the people who we are representing, so that they can defend us.
All right, as you prepare, just a quick question. Last week when we had some of your colleagues, they said they haven't been paid in 2 months. Is that still the case?
Yeah.
It's still the case?
Yes. You know, the National Treasury,
We'll come to that. Let's finish with this side, I promise you. Quickly, we need to get right of reply. Let's hear from you, and then you, quickly, a minute. Madam?
I don't want to sound rude, but I just want to ask one question. Are these MCAs cowards because they can't come out and say, this is wrong? Can they just team up? Because you are elected, you are elected to come and oversight the governors. Can you just come and team up and say, this is wrong? It doesn't matter how. If you truly have that passion to lead this country, to kill corruption, you can just come and say, this is wrong. And people will see that it's wrong.
All right. Thank you. Quickly.
Thank you, as I had said, my name is Peter. Actually, I just want to be brief. My view is, as we all know, that empty bottle blows the... Empty bottles makes the most noises. The fact that we know that, so I wish to request whether we can review the Constitution and say, if it's an MCA, we need to have your qualifications. Actually, maybe the salary that you get right now is all about your qualifications, because maybe we see there are so many MCAs who are Class 8 dropout. Last time we were seeing about the Kericho MCAs who don't know English. So maybe that's the qualification that you have. That's why you are getting the same salary.
All right. And finally, let's hear from you.
Okay, I want to say this. One, when you are relating houses that we have in this country, don't ever mention the parliament, the national parliament. That is the weakest house that we have ever had. And it's the most useless parliament that we have. One, because it has failed us 100%. Of all the cases that it has prosecuted, I congratulate the Senate. At least I've seen some things that they do, and they deserve some applause. But then the national parliament failed. So if you want to be empowered like the parliamentarians, like the national parliament, so that you can do your job, then you are going to fail terribly like them. Number two, MCS, you know your boss. Maybe your boss is a CRC. Can you complain? Can you gang and complain? If you cannot do that, can you call for mandamano and meet in streets? Yes, because now if you are asking for a job, for example, me, I'm a teacher. If, for example, TSC wants to employ me and they're offering me 50,000 and I don't want the 50,000, I will not start complaining that, they are paying me to. I will say, I don't want a job. I'll go and look for something else to do. Yeah.
All right. Now, finally, the moment I'm sure all of you have been waiting for, the right of reply. Let's hear from you, sir, then Honourable Speaker, and then Honourable
you start from me.
Yes.
And I want to say that I really admire the debate. And those two gentlemen behind there, I really listen to them, and they're making sense in their contributions. And I want to request you now, you allow me to finish.
Yes, but we
in a very short moment.
Yes, please.
Now, from where I began about the 47 billionaires and such, I think I raised the bar too high for people to understand what I was saying. But what I was saying is, my brother there talked about him being a chair of public accounts at one point, and I said the same. And I'll tell you that today I have, as a chair, a statement I wrote to the DCI, because my committee referred a matter of corruption in our county to the DCI for further investigations, because they are the experts, in a recommendation of the House, and actually a resolution of the House. Because much as we have powers of the High Court, there are those institutions that also have the ability to investigate much deeper, and they have been given that power by the
You've actually done that.
We've done that, and to date, it is like 7 years down the line, 7 years down the line, DCI has never given us feedback about what they found. So Allow me just to finish before you interfere in the flow of information. Yes,
really just want
that's I'm finishing. I'm telling you this. That example is to mean that, plus this other example that I'll give you. The Public Accounts Committee in a county assembly will invite the CEC and his team to respond to questions related to the Auditor General's report. And the same report is given to Senate by the same office of the Auditor General. And the same Senate will invite the governor with the same CEC that you invited. So there will be two parallel reports. So which takes precedence?
Is that even the question?
The Senate will not consider what the Public Accounts Committee of the County Assembly said. They don't even ask for that information. So what will happen is, we're in a political space. The powers with the Senate, it is a higher house than the County Assembly. Whatever they say might take precedence. So what I'm saying is, Victor, the County Assembly seemingly is given a lot of power by the Constitution, but that power is not practically with them.
All right, so again I ask, so since we're in the business of providing solutions,
yes,
can you provide one solution to this? Just give us one solution.
One solution is, we must now allow the County Assembly to exercise all the powers given by the Constitution. But don't forget, the Public Finance Management Act has again limited even the County Assembly the powers even to change whatever the governor proposes in the budget. It is only 1%.
So we must allow
legislation that allows the County Assembly enough space.
All right, all right.
But kindly, on the issue of corruption,
I'm afraid
the right of reply. Victor, you blocked me.
I have given you some time.
No,
but you've used it in this way.
Yes.
Allow him.
Allow me, Victor.
We only have 5 minutes left.
Yes.
And there are other speakers.
I will only use 30 seconds.
I have donated mine.
Thank you. Yes, because you seem to be so hard on me.
I have no axe to grind.
I forgive you. I forgive you.
What
I'm saying is,
please?
matters corruption.
Yes.
Like my brothers have said, and the reason why I was starting from where he actually gave that.
What is your point, sir? You can see the director is playing this out. We are out of time.
The issue is integrity.
Okay.
And Kenyans need now to address not issues. We have enough laws, enough legislation to address. We even have EACC. But it is matters personality, personal character, and integrity.
All right.
And it begins not from the leadership, but from the person at home.
The voter.
The voter himself.
All right. Bwana Speaker, your points quickly as you can.
Quickly, just two items to make devolution work better for us.
Yes, please.
First of all, more resources, equitable resources, to be devolved to the county governments. As it is now, it's at 15%. There are a lot of functions that have been devolved that have not been costed, and their resources have not been taken back to the county government. So counties are now struggling with resources just to pay the personnel, and they don't have development. The second one is for counties now to be more productive. The intention of devolution was that in years to come, 20, 30 years, that every county will be able to stand on its own and therefore reduce the burden on the national government. So in order to do that, we must make sure that counties are productive, they generate more own source revenue, and the executive and the county assemblies to put their heads together, and even the public, so that they're able to be more productive and they engage in private investments so that they can be more productive and be able to generate more revenue and reduce the burden on the national government.
Excellent. Thank you for your points and thank you for your brevity. What's your point, sir? What's one thing that we can do to improve this thing?
Thank you. Before I say that, one thing that we can do.
We really don't have time, so we might have to shoot straight.
I wanted to say that let us not generalize all MCAs and governors are corrupt. We have MCAs and governors who are doing a good job, and let us congratulate them for that. One thing that we need to do, the Senate and the county assemblies, we need to have a clear cut of their roles. In one way or another, we have conflicting roles between the county assembly and the Senate on the oversight role.
Okay.
So we need to know at what extent should the county assembly go and at what extent should the Senate take over their reports.
All right.
Lastly, we have civil societies that we also need to call them because, it is not when you elect a leader, you don't just abdicate your duties and say, I have a leader. We also have civil society groups. They should team up with the MCAs and the legislation houses to make sure that accountability is achieved in the county governments.
All right, thank you. Madam Ucheng?
My plea just goes to the systems and institutions that are there for accountability, so that they take charge and act on the recommendations that have been sent to them. Because there is no need for us to be doing all this work, make all these recommendations, and when work is not done or when proper charge is not taken, then the problem goes back to the houses on the lower.
All right, and to you?
I think what I like most about what is happening currently is the fact that now the assemblies have got financial independence, and there's this a little bit of division from the county governments. Their money now comes direct to the assembly. That one would strengthen oversight, would also strengthen accountability within the county assembly. So the autonomy of the financial autonomy of the assembly was a win for the assemblies to ensure that now we have effective oversight and accountability. Secondly, oversight running of this devolution is something that involves everyone, the public, the voters, the stakeholders, the MCAs. We cannot do this alone unless everybody else comes on board for this particular one agenda.
All right. And I hope we'll have you guys next year, Katiba at 16, where we can actually do 1 year of that new thing to see if it's actually had an impact. 30 seconds.
Well, it appears like we were beating governors and MCAs. It's not the case. We've got a few governors, a few MCAs, a few speakers who are doing an amazing job. Correct. But equally, you've got a number, they must pull up their socks. Yeah. Especially the ones who glorify corruption and who have raised the bar but in the wrong direction.
All right. Sir, you donated your time. So but
you can still give me if you so wish.
No. my director will be on my... Now I'll be failing in my oversight. Osman Ahmed is watching from Wajir County. Kevin Mokaya is watching from Nyamira County near Getari Secondary School. Christian Becky just says, wow, what a discussion. Professor Kotonde is tuned in. Victor Omieri is tuned in from Pipeline Estate, and he says it's a wonderful conversation. Julius Mokiti is from Chuso in Kitui County. Kiraga is tuned from Lamu. We have Bwana Misi here and saying, answer the question. Tumaini Nyandarwa tuned, and so many people. Movali Godfrey, Robert Wangusi, Robinson Mbuya, Samuel Minor. We've got people like Robert Kisiero, Dekunle Dubane, Johnson, and Karen Stacy, as well as Nelly Kanaga. Good people, thank you so much for choosing us to inform you this evening, and thank you for participating in this conversation. I want to extend a big thank you to the gentlemen and ladies that came to our studio tonight. It was hot, it was fiery, it was uncomfortable, but I assure you, it was beneficial for the growth and devolution and development of our great country, Kenya. Long live Kenya, long live Kenya, and long live devolution, as we say. My name is Victor Muyakane.